it seems as if Hadjar has said to Daddy, what's his name? What's the technical advisor, Marco Helmet? Daddy, I don't want to go to Red Bull. I want to stay with Racing Bulls. I think Hadjar is the first person to say, fuck that. I don't want to be Verstappen's teammate. He says that he doesn't want to do it because the car is tricky and he feels he needs more development. That sounds rational, but in the world of war, to make a statement like that, then we have to start questioning, are you made for F1 if you can't handle pressure? I'll start with that. I think in this case with Red Bull, maybe you not saying that you want to go to the top team is not you being a coward. It means you know that Red Bull is a useless car. Maybe that's what he really feels. Because if, let's say, they said it's time for you to go and join Lando Norris at McLaren and race Lando Norris, I don't think he'd be afraid because he knows it's a good car. So maybe it's not so much that he's afraid of Max, is that he knows that car is rubbish and he doesn't want to go there. But still, it doesn't look good. You're supposed to be a soldier. But he says he doesn't want to go, but he'll go if they force him to go. What are your thoughts on all of that, Mr. Johnny? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think he just knows what's going on in the background. He doesn't want to become
there's something
he doesn't want to become like a statistic, a Red Bull statistic of drivers, So he's actually like a good promise, And if he goes to, I think if he goes there and he's going to just end up being watered down and left on hand to hang and hang to dry, that kind of thing. So you're just being smart, I think,
Yeah, in this case, back in the day, like if Red Bull was still winning championships, and even if the car was messed up, I would say, okay, you're a coward. But if he goes there and he messes up, these fools at Red Bull will kick him out. The same way remember I did a show yesterday. They kicked out Checo. Checo wasn't the problem. Then they brought in Lawson. Then they kicked out Lawson halfway and bring in Yuki halfway. And the rumors are they're going to kick out Rue. So if he comes there and he doesn't do well, my view is that they should still keep him because he's not the problem. They have to fix the car. But if he comes there and they kick him, he's not going to be demoted. He's going to be kicked out of the team. Then he's going to be searching up and down the grid for a position. So maybe it's in his best interest to just stay with the Red Bull Junior team and then start looking for another team to join, because it doesn't seem like Red Bull is serious about being an F1 team. What do you think, Mr. Kune?
Yeah, I think it's actually twofold, and I agree with what Johnny was saying. But you see, it's not just that the car is crap, it's that he's coming in as driver too. So he's going to be expected not only to be driving a car that's not competitive, but he's going to be expected to...
I think he cut. He's going to be expected to play second fiddle. I have to jump in for Kule. Everybody, we all have different problems on our phone. So he's going to have to jump in and be second fiddle.
I think that he doesn't want to be in a place where he's being told to know his place, so to speak. And even if I'm going to have to know my place, I don't mind knowing my place in McLaren, where I'm competing for first to third. But knowing my place with the best driver in the world in a crap car, what am I going to be? I'm going to be some kind of bum boy. Or what they call a faggoting little boy. That's what they call them in England. It's not, I know it's a different connotation in America, in that sort of thing, but they say you're fagging. It's a different meaning.
He'll be the one to take it. He's going to be taking it.
That's UK interpretation, though, not.
Yeah, in America they call it a sissy. Yeah, so that's some BS. And here's the worst part. The guy that they're bringing in for Red Bull, Lauren McHughes, he is the person that built Red Bull Racing into a good team.
He will not even be in a bad car as the number one driver or a number two driver that's allowed to challenge. But he won't even be allowed to challenge, which is going to just be too negative. It's
here's what will happen. They're going to say, don't challenge Verstappen in a bad car. So if you're already in a bad car and you're not challenging, it means you're going to come last. Then when you come last, Helmut Marko would say he is such a big disappointment. He is coming last. So what they're going to tell him is that. So
and at this level, even wingmen are not really wingmen. They're the top 20 best drivers on the planet. They're not really wingmen.
Here's what he'll say. He's going to tell Hadjar to race fast enough to beat everybody else, but not fast enough to beat Verstappen. You can't tell that to a sprinter. It's like saying in 100 meters, okay, you come second. If once you put on the brakes, everybody else is going to pass you. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's a competitive sport. You can't tell me to be less competitive in a competitive sport.
No, no, no.
What's that about?
So I'm going to be real with you. I think, and this is going to sound controversial, if Red Bull continues to operate this way, if this is the way they're going to manage their team in the wake of this disaster, then they should get off of the grid and let another team come. I'm serious, because it's one thing to be bad. I'm not saying they should get off the grid because they're bad, but get off the grid if you're going to continue centering on Verstappen, going in the direction Verstappen wants to go. And I like Verstappen, but continually making it his team. It's like you're making it his team. It's like, oh, this is Verstappen's house, but you're living in a shanty. You get my point? It's like this is Verstappen's house.
They come back into the sport with their original names.
No, I'm serious. Red Bull should leave. They should leave because they're not committed to winning. If they're committed to winning, they would have kept Rob Marshall. They would have kept Whitmarsh and all those guys, giving them the money and giving them the directives on what to do to build the team. Give this guy shares. Give Christian Horner shares. Give them money and say, okay, we've put in $10 billion in this thing. I'm just exaggerating. If you guys fail,
Honda should come in under its own name. Honda, come in your own name. Stop using all these fizzy drinks to sell your car. Come as a Honda. Honda is a good car.
And they're now talking about bringing in an IndyCar driver to be Verstappen's teammate next year. So to me, the real problem here is that we're not blaming Red Bull for coming last. I remember 3 years ago, McLaren was almost at the bottom of the grid, but nobody was saying McLaren needs to get out of the sport. But McLaren did what they had to do to get better. So what I'm trying to say is that Red Bull needs to be operationally sound, just like Matt. 2 + 2 = 4. Do simple things that make sense, like Williams. If you're not winning, nobody's going to blame you because you're behind. But at least show that you're trying to improve and do things properly. What are your thoughts, Mr. Johnny? Yeah. Is Mr. Johnny here?
I'm not sure.
No, I think he's out. Okay. Yeah, so what are your thoughts, Kule? Yeah.
Sorry, I actually missed you. I just switched my ISPs. But I mean, if we're still talking about...
Here's what I was saying. I was saying that Red Bull is suffering now and their car is crap. That's not the problem. The problem is that in the midst of their car being crap, they're still not doing proper procedures for building a team and for improving. Even if you're bad for the next 6 years, it's okay if you have a blueprint that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense to just load it as the Max Verstappen team and to not have any input from the other driver, to not have a developmental plan with engineers who have say over Verstappen. Verstappen shouldn't have say in the direction the car goes. He should have about 40% say, and the engineers should have 60%. What are your thoughts? So in other words, they're not operating as a team, so they might as well get out of this one. Get the fuck out of this one.
It's actually quite tragic. It's like what was that play that Chinua Achebe wrote? Things fall apart. I think that's what's going on. I think you are now beginning to see just how valuable Christian Horner was to Red Bull. He wasn't just there as some guy that you can just get rid of and they're just going to keep soldiering on. No, he was the fabric of that team, and it is falling apart really, really quickly. I think Verstappen is going to deliberately start losing races because he would rather throw one season and get a good drive in a competitive car than waste a season getting fourth here and then having to endure another season of this nonsense with Red Bull.
I agree.
He might want to win 1 or 2 races, but I think if I was Verstappen, I'd lose enough races so I can't finish fourth. And then once I've done that, then I can start win a few races just to let people know who I am.
And then just go to Mercedes. That's why he's hanging out with Mercedes. That's why, and whether he likes it or not, George Russell is only going to get 1 year. Because as people say, Toto Wolff will drop kick George Russell in the chest for a minute to have Verstappen as his matrimonial bride. All right. So what are your thoughts, Mr. Johnny, before we head out?
Yeah, well, I lost track because I kind of like
Oh yeah, you went out. I thought you went out. Yeah, so basically what I was just saying is that if these guys don't want to operate as a team, the problem isn't that Red Bull is slow. The problem is that they're not functioning as a team that has goals to improve. It's just becoming, our favorite driver is Verstappen. And Verstappen knows that team is a joke now, and he's just going to drive slow next year and get out of his contract. What do you thought? Yeah.
Yeah, my thought the fact that what's his name Hadjar is not really thrilled about even
Yeah.
being bumped up to the mother team, and that just actually my thought would be that Red Bull is actually in trouble, and
Oh, they're
yeah,
in
and
big trouble.
as in, so that means there's not. I mean, it seems that I'm just putting conclusions together that it seems that Red Bull is not. I mean, it's not going to be very competitive. So Hadja is like, no way, I'm not. I'm not. Let me just stay here where I am. So that's like
Yeah.
bleak. It's going to be bleak. Probably going to be bleak for Red Bull the next year. That's
Yeah.
and
I
then
wouldn't be
again,
surprised. Go ahead. Sorry.
it
I cut
lost
you
Are
off.
you
honor.
sure about that? I don't like Bleak. Did you say Bleak?
Yeah, bleak.
And I think again,
South
honor.
African accent.
Honor, which I think maybe is magic flair that the team it's probably going to just be a dry team next year,
Yeah.
for Red Bull. So that would be my thoughts on
It's gonna be.
on that.
No, I'm serious. They're gonna be. People keep. I know. I keep joking, but I said it yesterday. I don't think Cadillac will come last on the grid. They may beat Alpine or Red Bull because right now Alpine and Red Bull. Alpine is just a money laundering operation. Okay,
I'll be
and
too
Red Bull.
embarrassed.
I don't know what. I don't even know what Red Bull is. Oh, no, what do you think about those two thoughts, Kunle, before we head out? Yeah.
Anybody that is racing that gets overtaken by Cadillac, I think that I think they'll be embarrassed because I should be embarrassed because I mean they shouldn't. They should finish last. I don't care what you say. It's their
Yeah.
first season. They have no knowledge of it. There
You know
must
why I
be
said
some
that?
American Cadillac people in that team that
You
are
know why I
seeing
think
what's
Cadillac might
on
have
for
a
the
slight
first time.
chance. Here's why I
Yeah.
think Cadillac might have a slight chance of not coming last. You have to remember that next year they're totally scrapping the car and going to new cars. So that's going to reorder the whole board. So with a team like Red Bull and Alpine, if there's too much chaos, the Tortoise, which is Cadillac, might just snail past them because they have so much unprofessionalism. And also
What
because there's a
engine
new.
unit are they going to
The
use?
reason why they're going to come last is because they're going to have to bring in Cadillac people into that team, and they're just not going to get it
No,
right.
no, no. It's not kind of like Kool-Aid. The whole team is made up of F1 guys, people from Renault, people from Lotus. They don't have one American person on their developmental team.
But they
It's
need
all
So
to
the
have
engine
them.
unit.
They need to get them in.
and also the engine. Okay, so the engine is going to be Ferrari for Cadillac next year. The engine
It's
is
going to be Ferrari engine.
not
Huh?
only
Yeah.
not only that. Cadillac is going to be using Toyota Gazoo's wind tunnel, and also because the other teams are racing each other, Cadillac is doing their wind tunnel for next year. So what they are focused on next year, and the other teams aren't. So I'm not saying that Cadillac will beat those other teams, but it mitigates they have a head start because their whole developmental program is for next year. Meanwhile, teams like Ferrari and Alpine are trying to get points this year, and they're retarding next year's development. Yeah, so Mr. Giant, they're going to be using Ferrari car, Toyota, Toyota wind tunnel, and also next year we're moving to 50% electric battery. This is
Yeah.
fucked up.
50,
This is going to fuck
That's
up
going to be
F1.
interesting.
So that's why I said Cadillac might be able to sneak in a ninth position on the grid. I'm not saying they will, but with all of those things added together, added to the fact that Red Bull is so unprofessional and Alpine is so unprofessional too, one of those two teams might get in trouble because I think Sauber is going to get better with Bortoleto. They're last on the grid, but I think Sauber with their Wheatley guy or with Whitmarsh, I think it's Whitmarsh, those guys will do better. So yeah, so what are your last thoughts on that, Mr. Johnny? Yeah.
Yeah, man. If it's going to be a Ferrari, they might just surprise us. Those are they have at least with a Ferrari engine, and then we got two very good, actually good drivers.
Yeah.
So and then depends on. I hope they can get some good mechanics in there. They might just be quite a surprise.
Yeah, there might be a surprise. Anything can happen in
But
F1.
I still imagine them being very slow. I don't know that name
Oh, yeah,
just added like.
they're going to be at the bottom of the grid. But what I'm saying is that if Red Bull isn't careful with the way the chaos, they may come last on the grid just because they're so disorderly.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. Kool-Aid, last word of wisdom, then take us out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting discussion about the machinations in Red Bull and what's going to become of it next season and their driver too and their problems and the incoming Americans in the Cadillac in next season. However, we look forward to the practice sessions in Zandvoort coming over in the next 24 hours, and we shall be joining you again. But for now, from myself, Mustafa, and Johnny, it's adieu. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Nice one. Mr. Johnny, do you watch the Thursday F1 show, the pre-show, the pre-race show? I think it's on now.
It's on now,
Yeah, I'm going to watch that one. All right.
Yeah,
I'll check the info for the thumbnail. So, Kunle, we're doing Liverpool Liverpool, Arsenal, and also what happened to Man U at 7:30.
Yeah, man.
What's the name? I think?
Well,
I mean, it's Brimley. It's Brimley. We're talking about
Brimley.
Brimley here.
That was
It's
actually,
all
man.
All right, guys. I'll see
All
you guys
right.
later. Thank you.
Yo.